Lily, please help me. They've got me. The voice on the other end of the line crackled, trembling, drenched in fear.
No.
Olivia's heart skipped a beat. Her body went numb as she clutched the phone tighter, praying that she was imagining the horror in the voice. Mom, please, don't hang up. The words sliced through her thoughts like a blade. A deep voice cut in, commanding, cold. Do exactly what we say, or you'll never see her again. Olivia's knees buckled. The kitchen, once a sanctuary, felt like a cage as the reality of the situation crushed her. She was trapped in a nightmare, and the one person she loved most in the world was begging her for help. The scream shattered the silence in Olivia's kitchen like glass breaking on concrete. Her hand trembled as she held the phone. The number was blocked, but the voice, Lily's voice, was unmistakable. Lily? Olivia's voice broke, her throat constricting. Her daughter's voice, frayed with panic, came through, barely audible. Mom, I don't know where I am. They've taken me. A man's voice interrupted, low and menacing. If you call the authorities, you'll never see her again. We want the money now. Do you understand? Olivia's knees buckled. The kitchen, once a sanctuary, felt like a cage as the reality of the situation crushed her. She was trapped in a nightmare, and the one person she loved most in the world was begging her for help. Her daughter's voice cut through, sharper now, filled with a desperation Olivia had never heard before. Mom, don't hang up. Please, I don't want to die. The background noises on the call were a blur. Muffled noises, a door slamming, the sound of someone breathing heavily. Olivia felt a knot tighten in her stomach. Everything was wrong. With trembling fingers, she opened her banking app, ready to comply with the demand, but something stopped her. The voice, it didn't feel real. It was too perfect, too rehearsed. Every sob seemed to loop in a rhythm that didn't belong to her daughter. Olivia froze. Could this be a scam? Could someone have faked Lily's voice?
Olivia's breath caught as she listened to the man's threatening tone. She should have acted by now. The money was right there. Lily's life was hanging in the balance. But every cry on the other end of the phone felt slightly off. There was something mechanical in the rhythm of Lily's desperation. "Lily?" Olivia blurted, trying to keep the panic from her voice. "Tell me something only I would know. A secret we've shared." For a moment there was silence. Then came the response. "Mom, there's no time. Please just send the money. I'm scared." It wasn't Lily. Her heart sank. Lily would have answered. She always did. Olivia's mind raced as the man continued to shout demands in her ear. Her eyes darted to the laptop on the kitchen counter. She quickly opened a search engine and typed in the first words that came to her. AI voice cloning scams. A sick feeling washed over her as she read through the articles. Scams using synthetic voices on the rise. Families tricked by fake kidnapping calls. Her hands trembled. Could someone have accessed Lily's voice from old videos or social media posts and created this illusion? Was it possible? A new text notification popped up on her phone. A grainy photo of a girl tied to a chair, her face distorted with fear. Her heart slammed against her chest. The girl looked like Lily. Same hair, same green hoodie, same terrified expression. Her mind swirled. She wanted to believe it was real, but she knew better. The photo could easily be fabricated. The voice, the image, everything felt too perfect. Her stomach twisted. If this was real, every second she hesitated could cost Lily her life. But if it was fake, then what? Her fingers hovered over the screen. What if she was already too late?
The photo wouldn't leave Olivia's mind. She stared at it, heart hammering. The girl's red, swollen eyes. The gray hoodie. Lily's favorite hoodie. The detail was haunting. But there was something off. Something that didn't fit. Olivia zoomed in, studying the image, trying to find the flaw. But the more she looked, the less certain she became. Was this real? Could someone really fake a photo like this? Pay now or you'll never see her again. The man's growl snapped her back to the present. Olivia's thumb hovered over the transfer button. Her hand shook. If she paid, she could save Lily's life. If she didn't... Her thoughts froze as the clock on the wall caught her eye. Lily was supposed to be home already. She should have been back by now. She quickly typed a text to Lily's phone. "Where are you? Please, answer me." No reply. She called Lily's number. It rang and rang, then went straight to voicemail. Every instinct screamed at her to act, to send the money, to end this nightmare. But she couldn't. Not yet. Lily would never leave her phone unattended. Lily would always answer. And this voice, this call, it was wrong. Too perfect. She grabbed a piece of paper and started writing. Safe word. Question only Lily can answer. The memory of an old game they'd played flooded her mind. A childhood secret. If you're ever in trouble, we'll use a word only you and I know. But that was something they'd only used when Lily was little. Could she really use it now? Olivia took a deep breath. Lily, if this is really you, what's the safe word? The line went silent. Her heart pounded. Then came the desperate cry. "Mom, there's no time! Please, don't!" Olivia's blood ran cold. It wasn't Lily. The photo, the hoodie, the voice, everything about this felt like a twisted version of reality. Then, her laptop pinged. A new email popped up. This one, more sinister than the last. The subject line, "She doesn't have much time." Attached was another photo. This one, even worse. Olivia's breath caught in her throat as the new photo loaded on her screen. Her hand shook as she gripped the edge of the desk, her mind racing with 1,000 questions. The girl in the picture, it looked like Lily. Same blonde hair, same terrified eyes. But there was something wrong. Her wrists were tied tightly with duct tape, her mouth sealed shut. The basement in the background was the same, but something about the details didn't match. The tear on Lily's hoodie, on the wrong sleeve. A small detail, but one Olivia knew by heart. She leaned closer to the screen, eyes straining to see more. It wasn't her daughter. It couldn't be. Another notification popped up. Final warning. Pay or lose her forever. Olivia's stomach churned. This couldn't be real, but the photos, the voice, the terror in the background, it all felt too real. She wanted to collapse, to give in to the fear and send the money. But deep down, her instinct screamed that something wasn't right. Her heart pounded as the man's voice thundered in her ear. 5 minutes. Do it now or she dies. 5 minutes. Her mind raced, but Olivia knew she couldn't make a hasty decision. Her daughter would never have allowed herself to be caught like this. Lily was too smart, too careful. She would have fought. She would have reached out for help. Olivia's eyes darted to the laptop again. She had to keep digging. She couldn't rely on just what she was being shown. She quickly ran a search. AI voice cloning scams, the term that had been haunting her thoughts. She found several articles detailing scams that involved deepfake technology. Families tricked into sending thousands of dollars after receiving fake kidnapping calls. It hit her like a cold slap. What if this was a scam? What if the voice wasn't Lily's at all? What if it was all fabricated? Her phone buzzed again, dragging her out of her thoughts. It was a new text from an unknown number. The message was short, only 4 words.
You won't believe this. With trembling fingers, she opened it. The photo from the basement flashed on her screen again, but this time it was different. The girl's face was covered in shadow, her body positioned awkwardly, as if it had been staged. Olivia's heart dropped. The photo was fake. She stared at the screen, her breath coming in shallow bursts. Could the man be watching her now? Could he see how close she was to uncovering the truth? Olivia's eyes darted to the clock on the wall. 2 minutes. She had 2 minutes to decide. The walls of her kitchen seemed to close in. She was trapped between the fear of making the wrong choice and the overwhelming need to save her daughter. But suddenly, the weight of the situation hit her like a hammer. If this was all fake, if they were playing her, then paying them would be the worst thing she could do. But if Lily was in real danger, if there was even a chance that the photos were real, she had to act fast. Her phone rang again. She hesitated. A blocked number. This time, she knew she couldn't answer. Her mind screamed, "What if it's too late?" What would you do in Olivia's shoes? Could you trust your instincts when everything seemed so real?
Olivia stood frozen, staring at her phone as it continued to ring. The blocked number, the one that had haunted her for hours, flashing again and again on the screen. She felt paralyzed, caught between the urge to answer and the fear that every second of hesitation was pushing her closer to losing Lily forever. But then, her phone buzzed with a new message, a simple text. "Lily is safe. She's with me." The words hit her like a punch to the stomach. Her breath caught, and she felt the blood drain from her face. Her mind raced, spinning with 100 thoughts. The voice on the phone, the photo, everything, it was all a lie. Lily was okay. She was safe. The relief was overwhelming, but it was quickly followed by something darker. Rage. Olivia's hands shook as she opened a new text from Lily's best friend, Jenna. "Olivia, Lily is at my house. She's been here all night. She didn't even go to school today. What's going on?" A wave of nausea hit Olivia. Her legs nearly gave way beneath her. Lily had never been in danger at all. She wasn't in a basement. She wasn't tied up. It had all been a cruel, elaborate lie. But why? And who was behind it? The phone rang again. It was the blocked number. Olivia answered this time, fury burning in her chest. "I know what you're doing. You're playing games with me. You wanted money, but you won't get it." There was silence on the other end of the line. Olivia could hear heavy breathing, but no response. Then the voice spoke. "You think you've won? We'll be back. And next time, we'll get it right." Before Olivia could respond, the line went dead. She stared at the phone, her body trembling. They weren't done. They weren't finished with her. Her hands gripped the counter, her mind racing. If they could clone Lily's voice, if they could fabricate photos and build a life out of lies, what was next? What were they capable of now that they knew she would bend under pressure? Olivia knew one thing for sure. She had just scratched the surface. Whoever was behind this, whatever it was, they weren't going to stop until they got what they wanted. The fear was back, but it was different now. It was joined by something darker, something deeper. Next time, they would be ready.
Olivia spent the rest of the evening pacing. Her mind buzzed with 1,000 questions, but the answers eluded her. She had thought she was saving Lily. She had thought the worst was over, but now she knew better. Her phone buzzed again. It was another blocked call. Olivia ignored it. She had to keep her head clear. She needed to think. She needed answers. As she walked back to the kitchen, the weight of the day finally hit her. This wasn't just about money. This wasn't even about Lily. This was about control. The people behind this scam had taken her life, twisted it, and used it as a tool to manipulate her. Olivia opened her laptop and started searching. She needed to know who could pull this off. What kind of technology could make it all feel so real? She dug into AI voice cloning, deepfake technology, and the latest scams. The more she read, the clearer it became. This wasn't just a random act of desperation. Someone had planned it, using everything they could find on her and Lily. Social media, photos, videos, even the smallest details of their lives had been used against them. Olivia clicked on a link to a news article about voice cloning scams. She couldn't stop reading. Deepfake technology had come too far. Criminals were now using it to manipulate victims into paying money they didn't have to. Her stomach twisted. This wasn't a scam. This was something much darker. They had planned it all, every detail of the lie, from the voice to the images. They had used technology to make Olivia believe her worst nightmare. But now, Olivia had a plan. She knew the first thing she had to do. She wasn't just going to sit back and let them control her anymore. She was going to fight back before the next call came.
Olivia sat frozen, staring at the screen of her laptop. The words from the scammer, "We'll be back. Next time we'll get it right," looped in her head like a broken record. The reality of it all hit her again. She wasn't dealing with a random call. This was methodical. This was someone, something, planning every move. Every second she had spent fearing for Lily's safety. Someone had been watching, waiting for the exact moment they could make her doubt herself. The phone buzzed again. A blocked number. She felt the familiar pang of dread surge through her. Do I answer? She debated it for a moment, but the thought of being controlled again was too much. She couldn't go down this path. Not again. But as the phone rang, Olivia's resolve started to crack. What if they have something more to show me? Her breath caught. What if it's Lily again? Forcing herself to focus, she took a deep breath and swiped the phone away from her, pushing the thought aside. The scammer is just trying to get into my head. They want to see me crack. Instead, she turned back to her research, trying to find out how deep this rabbit hole went. AI voice cloning, deepfake technology. She needed to understand what she was dealing with. Her fingers flew over the keyboard, searching for solutions. She found a company, Pindrop, that used voice authentication technology to prevent these exact kinds of scams. Could this be the answer? But as she began researching Pindrop's system, her phone buzzed again, this time with a text. Next time, we'll get it right. Next time, we'll use you. Her heart dropped. They were going after her now. It wasn't just about Lily. They were preparing to use Olivia against herself. The words echoed in Olivia's mind like a curse. Next time, we'll use you. What did it mean? How could they use her? They already had everything else. Lily's voice, her photos, her social media profiles. But how would they use her? Her heart was pounding as she grabbed her phone again. It was a new video call request. Her hands shook as she glanced at the screen. It was from her own number. Her breath caught in her throat. It was impossible, right? But the fact that it was from her own number made her stomach turn. Should she answer? What if it was a trick, a deeper level of manipulation? But if it's really them, if they're using my own voice against me? Olivia couldn't help herself. She had to see. She had to know what they were planning. Her finger hovered over the accept button. As the video call opened, her reflection filled the screen. But there was something wrong. The woman on the other side of the call wasn't just a mirror image. She was smiling at Olivia with a cold, unnerving smile. The same smile Olivia knew she wore when she was angry or frustrated. The same tilt of the head. It was her face, but not her. It wasn't just a deep fake. The woman spoke, her voice, Olivia's voice, calm, chilling, and confident. You see how easy it is, Olivia? Next time, we'll use you. Olivia froze, horror rising in her throat.
This wasn't just a scam, it was a nightmare made real. They didn't just have Lily, they had her too. They had her face, her voice, everything they needed to destroy her life. Do you know how many people trust you? How easily you could tell your bank to wire the money, or your friends to send you funds for an emergency? How easy it will be to replace you? Olivia could barely breathe as she watched the woman, the copy, lean closer to the camera, her smile widening. You're not special, Olivia. We've been preparing for you for months, and next time we'll get it right. Her blood ran cold. They were ready to replace her with a perfect copy, and she had no idea how far they'd go. Olivia slammed her laptop shut, the room suddenly feeling too small. The walls felt like they were closing in. Could this be real? Could they already be that advanced? What could she do now? What could stop them? Next time, they would get it right.
Olivia couldn't sit still. She paced back and forth across her kitchen, her mind racing. The phone, her laptop, everything felt like it was out to get her. The idea of losing control, of being replaced, was almost too much to bear. I have to stop them, but how? Her thoughts circled back to the emails, the calls, the video. Every piece of the puzzle that had once felt like a bizarre nightmare was now far too real. She wasn't just a victim of a scam. She was the target. And if they could copy her, take over her identity, her life, what could she do to fight back? But Olivia wasn't ready to give in. She sat down at the kitchen table and opened her laptop once again. The answer had to be here. The technology they were using to manipulate her, it wasn't invincible. She just needed to find the right tools to fight back. Her eyes darted to the security settings she had already set up, her VPN, the anti-phishing software, but that wasn't enough. They had infiltrated her life completely, using every tool available. She had to reclaim her identity, but she knew she couldn't do it alone. A search popped up. How to fight deepfake fraud and AI impersonation. Her eyes widened. Pindrop, the company she had read about, was just one option. She could use voice authentication. She could contact law enforcement and digital forensics experts. They had to know what was going on. But as she typed, another message pinged. It was from a blocked number again, and this time it felt different. They were toying with her. They knew she was onto them. Olivia, it's only a matter of time. We've already won. Do you really think you can stop us? Her hands trembled as she typed back. I'll find you, and I'll make sure no one else has to go through this. But as she hit send, she knew one truth. She was just getting started.
The night felt endless. Olivia had barely slept, her mind too consumed by the relentless cycle of fear and frustration. She had no answers, no one to help. And the thought of being controlled, of someone living her life for her, making decisions, draining her accounts, destroying her identity, sent her spiraling. As the hours passed, she found herself stuck in a loop, researching, thinking, doubting. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the image of her own face smiling back at her through the screen. Every time she opened her laptop, more questions arose. How deep did this go? Who was behind this? Were they targeting others too? The phone rang again. Olivia didn't even flinch. She didn't need to see the blocked number. She knew who it was. But something about it this time felt different. A gut feeling, one she couldn't ignore. She picked it up. The voice on the other end was unmistakable. It was her own voice. Olivia, the voice said, calm and cold. You've been warned. You've been warned over and over. We're not stopping. We're just getting started. Olivia's stomach twisted. She was shaking. The truth was undeniable now. They could be her. She pressed the phone tighter to her ear, trying to steady her breath. What do you want? Why are you doing this? She demanded.
The answer came with unnerving simplicity. Power. Control. We take what you value most, make you believe you're helpless, and in the end, we'll have everything. A cold shiver ran down her spine. She wasn't dealing with some random scammer. This was a calculated operation built on digital manipulation and advanced technology, and Olivia was just one more pawn in their game. "I will not let you win," Olivia said, the words a fierce declaration that surprised even her. The voice on the other end laughed softly, but there was no humor in it. "We don't need to win, Olivia. We're already winning." Then the line went dead. Olivia stood motionless, the weight of the words crushing her. They were more than just scammers. They were playing a game she hadn't even known she was in, and they were ahead of her at every turn.
With her hands trembling, Olivia opened her laptop again. She could feel the walls closing in, the oppressive sense of being trapped growing stronger with each passing minute. She was suffocating under the weight of their control, but she refused to accept it. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, searching again, this time for something more specific. Digital forensics, tracking AI impersonators. She had to find a way to expose them, to find their weak point before they took everything from her. She needed someone who understood this world of deepfakes and synthetic voices, someone who could guide her through the chaos. But who? Where? How? A quick search led her to an online forum, specialists who dealt specifically with AI crimes, voice impersonation, and deepfake scams. Their discussions were a mix of technical jargon, but one thing stood out. Once you've been targeted, you're never safe. They'll know everything about you, but there are tools to fight back. Olivia clicked through, desperate for anything that could give her an edge. She found a thread from a user named Redhawk. The message was chilling, but offered a glimmer of hope. "They're using AI to impersonate your voice. It's real, but there are ways to fight it. If you have access to their data, you can reverse engineer the voice print and expose it. You need to start by tracing them." Her heart raced. Could this be the answer she'd been searching for? She quickly bookmarked the page and copied the instructions, her mind racing with new possibilities. If they were using her voice, there had to be a trail, a fingerprint she could follow. But as she began to focus on the path ahead, her phone buzzed again. Another blocked number. Olivia hesitated only for a second before answering. She was ready this time. She wasn't going to let them intimidate her anymore. "Olivia," the voice purred, "it's time to give us what we want." Olivia's blood ran cold. They knew she was on to them. "Who are you? What do you want from me?" she demanded, trying to hide the tremble in her voice. The voice on the other end laughed softly. "You still don't get it, do you? We don't need anything from you, Olivia. We already have everything. But this time, we'll take your mind." Olivia's breath hitched. "What do you mean?" "Next time, we'll take you. We'll be you." And then the line went dead.
Olivia sat there, the weight of those words crushing her. "Will be you." Her mind raced. What did they mean? Were they going to replace her completely? Take over her life? Impersonate her to everyone she knew? Her pulse quickened. Was that the plan all along? To create the perfect replica? A version of her that no one would suspect? The more she thought about it, the more it seemed like this was the only way they could finish the job. She looked at the photos and videos they had sent her. They weren't just trying to get money or access. They were creating a new version of her life, a version that no one could tell apart from the real thing. And that was when it hit her. Their end game wasn't just about money or ransom. It was about erasing her, completely. If they had her voice, her likeness, her identity, then what was left of her? Olivia closed her eyes. They had already started. The subtle shifts, the fake calls, the endless attempts to make her question everything she knew. But the last thing she heard, "We'll take you, we'll be you," was a declaration she wasn't ready to hear. There had to be a way to stop them. She could feel it. This wasn't the end. She wasn't going to let them erase her. Not this time. She opened the thread again. Reverse engineer the voice print. It was time to dig deeper. Time to fight back.
Olivia's fingers flew across the keyboard, her mind focused on one goal: to expose them. She couldn't afford another misstep. They had pushed her to the edge. They had tried to take everything from her. But they underestimated one thing: her will to fight back. The thread she had found about digital forensics kept running through her mind. If you can trace their voice, you can trace them. She had already seen the power of the AI they were using against her. Now it was time to turn that power around. Her laptop screen glowed in the darkness as Olivia followed the instructions meticulously. She was pulling apart every detail, every piece of data she had on her attackers. She had to break their voice print, find a way to reverse engineer it, find the flaw, the crack in their perfect illusion. As the minutes passed, her hope began to wane. What if this doesn't work? What if I'm too late? But then, something caught her eye, a subtle distortion in the voice clip they had sent her earlier. It was so minute, so small that most people wouldn't have noticed it. But Olivia's eyes locked onto it. This is it. This is the weak spot. She isolated the frequency, reversed the waveform, and ran it through a filter to trace it back. Her heart hammered as she saw the results. They had used a fake service, a tool, and it was tracing back to a company with a dubious reputation, one that specialized in manipulating voice data. "Gotcha," Olivia whispered to herself, her voice steady for the first time in hours. With the evidence in hand, she immediately contacted the authorities and provided them with all the data. It wasn't just about her anymore. This was bigger. There were likely others, people who had already fallen victim to this invisible predator. But she knew that her fight wasn't over. The worst part was, even with all this information, she had no idea who they were. No faces, no names. The shadows behind the screen were still untouchable. Just as she clicked send on her email to the police, her phone buzzed again. Another blocked number. She answered without hesitation. "Olivia," the voice said, calm as ever. It was them. "You think this is over?" Olivia took a deep breath. "I know it's not, but it's over for you." There was a pause on the other end. Then the voice chuckled. "You think you can stop us? You don't even know who we are." "I know enough." Olivia's voice was sharp now, steady, confident. "You're not getting away with this." For the first time, the voice faltered. It was subtle, but it was there. "You really think you've won?" it asked, the tone slightly rattled. Olivia let the silence stretch, a calm before the storm. Then she spoke. "I don't have to win. I just have to make sure you don't." With that, she ended the call. The next few days were a blur. Olivia worked with the authorities, providing them with everything she had gathered. The data, the voice prints, the reverse-engineered files, they all pointed to the same conclusion. Someone, or something, was using AI tools to create perfect copies of people's identities. And it wasn't just Olivia they had targeted. While the investigation continued, Olivia's fear began to subside. It wasn't over, but she had finally taken control. She had found their flaw, exposed their methods, and made sure they couldn't just erase her from the world. The police traced the digital footprints to a dark web marketplace, one specializing in voice cloning and deepfake technologies. The people behind the scam were part of a larger syndicate,
an underground network selling their services to the highest bidder. Olivia couldn't help but feel a sense of victory. It wasn't just about her, it was about everyone who could fall victim to this terrifying technology. But the investigation was ongoing. The authorities still had a long way to go. And for Olivia, the reality was that she would never be fully safe. The technology was out there, and if the people behind this could use it once, they could use it again. As Olivia closed her laptop that night, she felt the quiet peace that comes only after surviving a storm. She had won. But as she looked out of her window, she couldn't shake the feeling that the battle wasn't truly over. The shadows were still out there, and the next time she picked up the phone, it could be someone else's voice calling. The real question was, who would they come for next? A few weeks later, Olivia stood at her front door, watching the rain wash away the remnants of the nightmare she had lived through. It was a strange feeling, freedom mixed with lingering unease. The world outside looked normal again, but Olivia knew better now. She had seen the future of crime, and it was more dangerous than anyone realized. She had installed every security measure she could, changed her passwords, set up voice recognition for everything. She had taken back control over her life. But somewhere, out in the digital ether, the people behind the voice still existed. They were still out there, waiting for their next target. And Olivia knew that no one was truly safe. Not anymore. The wind howled through the trees. Olivia pulled her jacket tighter around her, knowing that the true battle, the one against the technology itself, had just begun.